Hey, everybody, welcome back to Red Road Paranormal. I'm Christina. I'm here with my co host Rez, and our friend Jesse is joining us this evening to talk about all kinds of fun stuff. So, I am going to, first of all, just say remember to subscribe, hit the like button, share, help us out, give us a hand in building our audience here and sharing this great information with more people. And I will hand it on over to Rez.
Hey everybody, favorite redneck here with our good friend Jessiy Hawthorne. So Jesse, tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, I know I spell my name weird, but yes, it's pronounced Jesse.
It's okay to be
Um,
unique in this world.
yep. I pretty much I grew up on an Indian burial ground when I was younger, down towards the Kankakee area of Illinois, right on the Indiana border. It was a really small town. My graduating class was 24 people. So nobody was really open to anything different. It was all what's popular and what's quote unquote normal. So I didn't really have anybody to really talk to about this type of stuff. And I didn't even know that it was actually there were conventions in a whole community until like a year or two ago. I had no idea that there were like conventions with thousands of people that went, and there were so many people that were open to this type of stuff. So as soon as I realized that, that's when I started becoming more open because I'm like, oh, I'm not the only crazy person.
Welcome to the
No,
weirdos.
Right.
yes, welcome. You're in good company.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely great company here. Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun meeting so many people this year because like this year blew up for me with doing expos and events, and I'm doing my first speaking event next year. I'm gonna probably start
Awesome.
writing a book. Hopefully in December is when I plan to start it. Everybody knows, it kind of just depends on how things roll.
Yep. Yeah.
I've had experiences from ETs, UFOs to ghosts to it might be Bigfoot nowadays. Now that I'm researching and knowing a little bit more, and um, I think came into contact with it's called the Pukwudgie out east, by Massachusetts. My fiance and I love going out to the East Coast. We've been going there for it'll be 3 years next year. So I got some stories from out that way too, because that place out that way is like there's just so much history, and it's really alive with the native culture as well. Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
many different areas and little. I can't wait to shop like because I found out a lot of the native shops are only open like during the summertime. So hopefully next year we're hoping to go out that way like around August. I can actually shop at some of the native stores that are out that way.
Nice.
Yeah, my homeland's originally out east area.
Oh, okay.
Mohicans are from out that way.
Oh,
So
wow. I didn't know that's what I don't want to say nationality, but what type of tribe that you were.
yeah. Stockbridge, Night and Blackfoot. Stockbridge and the Muncie, they're Mohican. So we're banded up. Originally started out east and kind of got shoved this way until we hit Wisconsin, and it's where I've been ever since.
Wow. Yeah, just like I know a lot of tribes got shoved more up north, like where it was like colder and stuff. Same with like Canada and Alaska and everything. I can only imagine like out east where like King Philip's War was. I went to a Wampanoag cemetery. It's like Royal Wampanoag Cemetery. Like that, it's so crazy how peaceful it was. It was just so relaxing and like loving there. You don't get that when you go to like regular graveyards and quotations. But
Right.
when we went there, you had to be careful where you walked because you could accidentally step on a headstone because sometimes it was just a seashell was like the marker or a tiny little stone. There was no carvings or anything. It was just pieces of rock or wood or seashells or something. And I knew we were going there, so I brought a bunch of different offerings like little shells and stones like stones that are shaped like hearts And then I also brought some tobacco and cedar as well. So I walked around and left offerings at a lot of the graves and everything, and then it's right on a lake too. So we did a little bit of hiking around the area, and it was just really interesting. And even my fiance Steve was like, it was really peaceful there. That's odd. I'm like, why is that odd? He goes, usually cemeteries are unnerving, but it was really peaceful there.
Oh, that's interesting. I almost always find cemeteries to be peaceful.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
relaxing.
Yeah. I
Well,
always
it's
find them to be that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty awesome that you went and gifted them things and honored them like that. You know, because that's where a lot of them they kind of get upset because they've been forgotten.
Yep.
And that's where you end up having issues.
Yeah.
There's a bug flying around in here, so if I freak out, that's why.
She was getting a message, I thought.
Yep. The voices are talking to her. Um, I wanted to hear more about your UFO experiences.
Okay.
Yes,
Um
that's what I was thinking.
I know it's funny how like a lot of my friends I've known is I like everybody contacts me for ET stuff because I guess I'm in ET encyclopedia.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Like, so the very first memory that I have of when I was young was seeing a gray type being in the back of the woods, like the yard area. So like we had I think 5 acres and it was all woods. And we had like kind of we called it the front yard, which was fenced off, and then there was the backyard, which had privacy bushes, and that's where like the sky fort was, and there was a creek back there, um, and like a hill, which obviously was part of the mound, like the Indian burial ground, because it didn't make sense that that was there. I mean, back then I didn't know, I had no idea, and later found out. I was like, oh my God, that's not cool, but okay. So I think I was 5 and I was in that backyard and I heard something like rustling in the bushes. So I looked up and there was the top part of the head of a gray, and I saw like the top parts of its eyes, and it moved like to the left and to the right, and then and I remember being like terrified, and I don't remember after that. Like I think I ran back to the house, but I'm not 100% sure. So that was my first encounter with something, otherworldly. Or I mean, for all we know, they're just in a different dimension. We technically have
Right.
no idea.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. We really don't know. There's so much we don't know.
Hmm.
We just
That's
make
why I love
assumptions.
paranormal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Me
You
too.
know, I think we need to get a group of us together and come up north to the reservation this summer. We'll do a CE5 in the backyard.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. I do CE5s out this way. I have my own group and stuff. Um, oh, freaking bug. I hate stink bugs. Um, so in 2020, I just so the way that this happened is just funny. So one night I had a quote unquote dream of waking up, and I looked towards the bedroom door and I saw this like 5 foot tall kind of gray being peeking in the door, and I freaked out. Like I started hitting it and screaming, "You're not going to take me," freaking out on it, and all it did was smile at me. And then I quote woke up and was like, "What the heck was that?" And then about I don't know, maybe a week later, I was just on Amazon Prime looking around for stuff to watch, and I came across Stephen Greer's film Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is interesting. I never
That
heard of
was
this before.
awesome. That was an
Hmm.
awesome
Yeah.
documentary.
So
Yeah.
I watched that, and then started trying to be more open and not afraid. And then I had another quote unquote dream of that same ET poking its head into my bedroom. And at first, that fear came up and I wanted to freak out, but I pushed it away. And then it smiled and it walked away. So I don't know. I always found that really interesting that I have a dream and I'm, freaking out. And then I see that film and I try to change my mindset. Have the same dream of the same being. And then it's just like, okay, peace out. See you later.
Yeah. Sure. Why not?
Right?
So that's how I
They're
came
still
across
keeping tabs.
CE5.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Rez?
I said they're still keeping tabs. They're just
Right?
doing it from a distance now.
Right.
Well, not all the time, but yeah. I actually interviewed someone for a different show. Zach's, how do you say his name? Screedy, Zach Screedy, who has a CE5 group here in Wisconsin, in central
Oh, okay, cool.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, I thought that was interesting because he's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is a great place to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, my old property would have been good for that. But obviously, don't live there anymore. So I ended up finding a group on Facebook that was originally ran by somebody else. And then he gave the group to me in 2022. Yeah, 2022. And we've been doing it at my shaman teacher's house in Moni. Usually it's a once a month thing when it's nice out, but this past year just kind of was too crazy. So I sadly only had two, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to have another one considering like how the weather is and stuff. So we'll see what happens, but I usually
yeah,
try to have one like May, June, July, August, September, and hopefully one in October is usually how it goes. We've definitely caught lots of stuff like in the sky. I call them flash bulbs where like you just see like bright flashes out of nowhere. And we've seen them where it's obviously not a plane because I do have my friend Eric, I call my tech guy. He has like all the different apps and all the different things to see if it's a plane or space debris or satellite or the ISS. And there's been plenty of times where we see something and he's like, "Well, nothing's in that part of the sky, guys, so it's a UFO, it's something different." I
Yeah.
right.
did end up recording one. So I do have one recording of one that we got. Um and then we've caught stuff like on the ground level too, which I think it's the land spirits there. I think the land spirits really like us there because we when we first decided to start doing them there, we brought offerings and honored the ancestors and stuff. And so they like to play with us too. Like the EMF detectors will like go off and everything. There was this one time where it got really really warm around me and I think it was like September and then I smelled like vanilla cookies baking like in the middle. Where why would I smell vanilla cookies baking in the middle of a field and it got really warm around me? And I was like, "Oh, that's odd." So I didn't really say anything. And then later on that night, one of my friends, Greg, he was like, "Anybody else smell that?" And I was like, "What do you smell?" And he goes, "It kind of smells like cookies, like vanilla." And I'm like, "Dude, are you serious?" So I told him what happened to me, and it was just interesting that we both had the same experience, and I didn't say anything. It happened to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I love
I
it
don't
when
know.
that stuff happens. It's
I know.
confirmation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's validation. It's so
Mhm.
fun. And then I think there might be a Bigfoot in the woods over there too, because we got these like huge, like 8 foot tall SLS figures, like shaking their fists at us.
Hmm. Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know what those were, but I mean, it could be, like I said, we don't know. We can only see like 10% of the light spectrum or something. So
Right.
like
Yeah.
there's stuff around us all the time that we just don't see. And there's another time that I happened to see like an orangish kind of red orb floating along the fence line that my friend has when she had horses. And I was like, "What? Oh, that was kind of cool." didn't really say anything about it. And then a couple days later, my one friend Dave, he loves taking digital camera shots and picking up orbs and fae and everything. He was like, "Oh, you got to see this picture that I captured. I got an orb." I'm like, "Oh, really? Let me see." And it was the same orb that I saw in the same spot. And when he takes pictures at the beginning of the night and towards the end of the night, and he said he took that at the beginning of the night, and that was before I even saw the orb. So I was like, "Well, that's interesting."
That is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that is pretty cool. Yeah, it is. I know that with the only time I've ever seen what I would consider a UFO was on over Lake Superior, and I've seen it twice, like two different ones, because one was the triangle lights that just
Oh,
kind of,
cool.
yeah, that just kind of spin and then gone. And I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure we don't have the technology to have anything that accelerates that quickly.
Yeah.
If we do, I mean, if humanity has that, I'm not aware of it. And then the other one was a submersible, so it came up out of the
Oh.
water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting, yeah, because I was like, "Did I just see that?" And no, I was like 8 other people. Nobody else saw it come up out of the water, but they're looking for what made the wave.
Mhm.
I'm
Hmm.
like, "All right, you need to look down sometimes, not up all the time."
Right.
So I kept waiting for it to come back, because it came from there. Maybe it's coming back to there, but I
Mhm.
I wasn't there long enough to see it return apparently. But it was pretty cool.
Well, at least like other people kind of saw something because there's times
Right.
where they're just like it's almost like you're not worthy. You can't see us.
Yeah. Or you're crazy because all of us are here and you're the only one who saw anything. So,
Yep.
either you're lying or you're nuts, you know? And
Yep.
so it's usually one of those two things, right, Rez?
Yep. Nuttier than a pet coon, I tell you.
Well, there was this one time, so after I started kind of doing CE5s a little bit, it was when I still smoked cigarettes. I went outside to have a cigarette and was sitting on the porch, and I looked up and I saw this like brilliant whitish blue orb in the sky, and it was too big to be a plane, and there were no blinking lights on it. And I was just like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Is if that's you, could you give me a sign?" And it got, I
Mhm.
call it a power up. It got really bright, and then it dimmed down to how it was. And I'm like, "Oh my God, hi, hi Sky Family." And I got like all excited. And I was like, "Could you do that again for me?" So it did it again. And I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool."
That
And then
is.
my fiance comes outside and he lights, I'm like, "Babe, there's a UFO." And he's like, "Where?" I'm like, "Right there. It's a UFO. I was just talking to it." And then it starts blinking like a fucking airplane.
All right, that's it. What brand of
And
cigarettes were you smoking? I'm going to get a pack tomorrow.
right.
I'm going to test this out.
And
Funny
he's sitting
left-handed
there,
ones, weren't they?
Uh-huh.
blinking. He's like, "Babe, that's an airplane." I'm like, "No, it's not an airplane. It's a UFO."
Yeah, well, they're smarter than we are.
Oh yeah, and you know that they're like telepathic too. That's why like
Right.
a lot of people can't get perfect pictures or perfect video or anything like that.
Right. Because they block it.
Yeah, they're just like,
Yep.
"Nope."
Spirits do
Ain't
the
gonna
same
happen.
thing.
Yeah, and Bigfoot.
Yep.
Bigfoot does
Yeah.
the same thing too. Yeah.
Yeah. They all do the
Yeah.
same thing. They all know how to blur a picture so that it can't be seen clearly.
Well, is it
Mhm.
that they're trying to, or is it just because they vibrate at a higher frequency than we do, so therefore we can't capture it?
Could be either one, I suppose. We don't
Yeah, I
really
know.
know. We can
Yeah.
guess. We have what we believe, but that's not knowing. That's believing.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
we might be able to believe or um, just assume that they are just vibrating higher, but maybe they're just throwing up a shield.
Mhm.
Could be.
We don't know.
Some of the coolest Bigfoot footage that I've seen, oh gosh, I think it was in Bigfoot Revealed or something. I can't remember the name of the film. And there's a paranormal Bigfoot too. But this lady and her
Uh,
friend.
Flash of Beauty, something
Yes.
Beauty.
Yeah,
Flash of
yeah,
Beauty.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. How they were out in the woods, and what was it? I think they heard something, so they looked, and she turned the camera that way, and the camera just caught branches and bushes moving like something was moving them to get out of the way, but they saw a black shadow. So their eyes saw a black shadow, and the camera didn't see anything. It just saw the plants moving. So I love that footage. That footage is
Yeah.
Yeah.
intriguing.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing when I watched it.
Those
Yeah, A
those are
Flash of
really,
Beauty
really
is
good
one of the
films.
best done
Yep.
Bigfoot, Bigfoot documentaries I've ever seen. They did a
Yeah.
really good job. And I watch a lot of documentaries. Like I don't even
That's
watch
all I
other
watch.
That's I watch that and like Scooby Doo once in a while because they are kind of the paranormal investigators of the 70s, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I I've just always enjoyed that show. But yeah, I
Ruh-roh,
watch
Raggy.
Row. uh, you and me in the documentaries, like that's all I think I've seen every documentary on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, what's the other one? Tubi. I don't even know. I think I've
I'm
seen all of
watching.
them. Yeah.
I've actually been taking a break from the docs lately.
Have you?
Yep. Yeah, I had to change up to a little fake TV.
Yeah, I've been watching some fake TV too lately, like Charmed and House are the ones I've been watching lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been getting into that new Penguin show on Max. So I'm a DC nerd. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
help
I
it.
didn't realize that was out already.
Yeah.
I've- I assume we're talking about like Penguin from the Batman series.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it still Danny DeVito?
No,
Okay.
Danny's too old.
I had to ask because I don't know. I'm really not into the superhero thing, so
My fiance's big into DC,
okay.
so that's why I know a lot about it.
My
I like
grandson's
I
into
don't know.
Marvel. Yeah.
I go back
Yeah.
and forth.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I go out there and he's going, Captain America, Batman, Iron Man. Like he's really into it. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Now, both you ladies have had a near death experience.
Yep.
If you want to touch on there,
Go ahead, Jess.
Okay. I say mine's kind of long, I guess, and kind of a way. So, um, my dad died when I was 10, and I saw his body. I'm finding out now that let me close my window. Or not, I can't reach it.
she don't want the neighbors to know that she's nuts, right?
Right. I heard like a plane. I'm like, oh no, come on, man.
I didn't
Um,
hear it.
okay,
Nope, you're
good.
good.
Um, I've been finding out, I think I might have actually astraled when that happened because my mom says that I was not in the room, but I was in the room, so I think I astraled. But
Okay.
so he passed when I was 10, and then during my 11th grade physical, they found out that I had scoliosis. So they put a rod in my back and said when I turned 18 that I was going to grow more. They'd probably have to put another one or two in. So after I graduated high school, they put two more in. So I have three rods in my back. And so I graduated high school in 2005. So 3 years later, in 2008, I started like kind of coughing up blood every now and then, like not a lot at first. And I was just like, oh, whatever. And it was March. It was around St. Patrick's Day. I was out with friends doing karaoke, and I was staying at my one friend's house, and I ended up filling her toilet with blood. So she was like, "You're going to the hospital. Like, get in the car." So we go to the Riverside in Kankakee, and I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. So they at first they were just like, "Oh, you have a little blood in your mucus, that's normal. That's okay." My friend was like, "No, she is like coughing up blood. Like it's not a little bit." And they didn't believe us until I filled the sink in my room with blood. And like the looks on the nurses' faces was priceless. They just like they paled, and then before I knew it, there was people around me like doing I don't even know what, like IVs, throwing putting pills down my throat, doing this, doing that. And I don't remember like really much after that until I woke up. So pretty much what I've heard from my mom and the doctors was um Riverside couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So they put me in a medically induced, or no, I got airlifted to Rush, and then they put me in a medically induced coma to calm my body down while they tried to figure out what was going on. So they found out that one of the screws from my surgery eroded and it punctured my right lung. So I was suffocating on my own blood. So they had one tube in to take out the blood and another one to breathe for me. And my mom said that I was in a coma for over 2 weeks and I wouldn't wake up. She said they kept trying to wake me up because they have to, I guess, wake you up to do the surgery, which makes no sense because they have to put you to sleep again, anyways. I don't know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I wasn't waking up. And then she said that, excuse me, I finally woke up and then they were able to do the surgery. And, during the surgery, so what they did was they took out that part of my lung that was punctured because they couldn't take out the screw, obviously, because it's in my spine. So they took that part of my lung out, and I guess I bled out on the table like 3 times. They brought me back with the paddles twice, and then the third time they called the time of death, but I came back. Um, the only thing that I really remember, and I don't know if it was when I was dead or if it was after I woke up, but I just know that my dad was next to me. Like I know he was there. I felt him there. And then I think I went back to sleep. I don't know, but then it was just like, "Oh, my dad's there." And like I wanted to get up and like give him a hug or something, and then I opened my eyes and my friend's face is in front of me. He's like, "Oh, you guys, she's awake." And then everybody's around me freaking out, and that's pretty much all I really remember. um I guess I also this is just funny. I found this out recently. My mom told me I woke up on Easter Sunday, and which is just interesting because I wasn't waking up, and then I woke up on Easter Sunday after dying and everything. And my mom said that there was a like a young nun or something in the room, praying over me and everything. She's like, "You woke up and the first words out of your mouth was what the fuck?" And she said, she's
That
like,
tracks. That
"That's my
tracks.
daughter."
Well, that'd be me.
Yep, that tracks.
So that I found that out a couple months ago, and that cracked me up. I'm like, "Oh my god, that is hilarious." She's like, "Yep, that I felt bad for that poor nun, but that it made sense that that was you."
Yep, that makes sense. Well, I've had 4 of them. So,
Okay.
the first one was when I was very young. I was probably about 5, and, it was child abuse, plain and simple. I'm just not gonna go into details, but,
Okay.
Yeah.
let's just say the hole in the wall never got fixed, but that's what did that. Um, but I vividly remember all of a sudden I was just walking across a field of wildflowers and long grasses, and I was little. I was tiny anyway because I was a preemie and I didn't catch up until I hit puberty. So I was pretty tiny even for a 5-year-old. And I just remember like walking through the grass. I've got my hands, just touching the grass as I'm walking through. And I could see somebody sitting on a boulder I didn't know it was called a boulder. It was a rock at the time, but there was somebody sitting on it, and I just started walking that way and just walked over, and this um, this man helped me like get up and sit next to him on the rock, and I just knew it was Jesus, even though he didn't look like the guy in the church, you know? Because first of all, he was very dark skinned. He had kind of dreadlocks. He was, he didn't look like the guy in the church. And
Yeah.
we were sitting there and we were talking, and I don't remember what the conversation was until the end, where he said, you have to go back now. It's time to go home. And I'm like, why? He said, because you're not done. You're not done. You need to go back. I'm like, I'm not done with what? I mean, I was 5. I had no idea what he was talking about, right? So I'm just like, he's like, just go ahead. And when I started walking back, all of a sudden there was a tree in the meadow where there hadn't been one. And I walked up to the tree and I looked up, and it kind of split, and I looked up to one side and it went like all the way up. I couldn't see the top. And then my eyes just kind of followed down to where it split, and I looked at the other side and it was short, and I was back in my body just like that. I just remember, like, I don't remember what happened after I got back in my body. I just remember that I woke up on the floor in the kitchen. Like, that's where I came to, was on the floor in the kitchen. The next one, I was 14 and I OD'd. So I was already well beyond where I should have been conscious, but you build up a tolerance. And
Yeah.
I couldn't have weighed more than 70, 75 pounds at that point. I was still really, really thin. And we were out at the lake at a cabin, and I just all of a sudden just went paralyzed, like I couldn't move. And they picked me up and put me in the back seat of my mom's car, and she drove me 35 miles into Woodruff to the hospital. Then they decided that I was having, what was it? I think it was appendicitis they decided I was having, but it was actually a ruptured bowel because I hadn't eaten in months, and I was just drinking heavily and drugging, and yeah, so they had to fix that, but then they took the appendix anyway because they said it was getting ready to rupture, and they didn't want to have to go back in a week later. So yeah, that was the second one. I died on the table, on the operating table. And I just remember at that one, I just went up the stairs, and there was a door on the left-hand side, and there was this bright light coming from around it. And I was standing there looking at the door, and I'm knocking, and they're like, you can't come in. It's not your time. I'm like, I'm tired of this story. Let me in. And I had that argument for 4 days, apparently, because I was in a coma for 4 days before I came out
Oh,
of it.
wow.
Yeah.
You really wanted to go through that damn door. Huh?
I really wanted to go through that door, and whoever was on the other side was not letting me in. They're like, you are not finished. You need to go back. So begrudgingly, I went back. The next time I was 25 and I was having my first child. And in between there, I had had 2 bouts of cancer. And
Oh,
so
wow.
there was it was, female oriented cancer, and there was a lot of scar tissue. So I couldn't give natural birth. Right. But they kept trying to make me give natural birth, even with scarring. And yeah, welcome to women's health in America.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So I was in labor for 2 days, couldn't give birth, even though I was in labor. And they were monitoring my son's heartbeat as well. My heartbeat stopped twice, and they restarted it. When his stopped, then they did the emergency C-section.
Oh, jeez.
I know, right? Yeah. The
Yeah.
last the last time was 10 years ago, and it was pneumonia. And it was a very severe case of pneumonia, obviously. They did 2 emergency surgeries to bring me back because I was done. I was just done. And I was already all the way into the light. And then I heard my husband's voice and I came back. I don't know why I came back. I don't know what possessed me, but
You love them.
he called me back. So yeah, that was the last one, but that was 6 months of rehab after that to
Oh,
just to
wow.
heal the scars
Yeah.
from the surgery. You've had thoracic surgery, you know what that's like.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are my 4 stories, and next time this better not be a false alarm. That's all I got to say.
Oh my God.
I'm tired of false alarms, man.
You sound like a cat. You got 9 lives, so that's what, 4 more, 5 more
Right.
to go.
Oh God. Shh. Nobody asked you. Wow, I am really red. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, that's
breathe.
it's a lot though, you know? And the thing is though,
Yeah,
with the first one, I learned something very important. I learned that I had the ability to leave my body. That was really key for me surviving my childhood.
yeah,
That
I
was
bet.
really key.
That's, yeah. Wow.
You
I
know,
still can't do that.
yeah, I could do it right up until I had kids, and now it's like trying to get out of my body is a struggle. I can do it, but it's a lot harder than it used to be. But
Isn't everything as we get older?
it's
Right.
just not right. Like now we have more knowledge, but
It should be easier now.
it should be easier now. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did allow me the ability to learn how to leave my body. And so I think that was really important because when things got bad, no matter what my body went through, I wasn't there for it. So,
Yeah, I've heard that before too. People
mhm.
that have had to deal with shit like that, they when they learn how to astral project, it's almost like a godsend. And
It's a
and
survival mechanism.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's something I think that that kids should be taught in case they ever need it.
right.
Yeah. Well, I see there's an academy somewhere, I think out in Colorado, to teaching kids or blindfolding them and teaching them
Oh
how to use
yeah.
their abilities to see, to
I love
navigate
that.
courses, looking at cards,
It's
proving that
so
we don't need our
awesome.
eyes.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
freaking
Caroline, I
awesome.
think her name's Caroline Corey, I think. She did a documentary on that called Superhuman. I
Oh
Well,
yeah,
it
I saw that.
Okay. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. That was really good. So, tell us about when did you get into Reiki? Was that before or after your near-death
Um,
experience?
oh, actually kind of a little bit of both. So like I've always been a healer, I guess. People would always come to me with their issues, relationship issues, anything. They would always come and talk to me.
Mhm.
Um, so
I
that's
feel that pain.
Me too.
and then I would have like boyfriends or friends or something that would have like a headache or a stomach ache, and they'd be around me and then they would feel better. I mean, I was just I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, "Oh, okay." And then the way that excuse me, I got into Reiki is actually another the universe being funny. So I live in like around Schaumburg, and then my mom lives down towards Kankakee. So middle ground is kind of around like the Tinley Park area.
Right.
So we meet up in Tinley Park at least once a month to like go to like Cracker Barrel, we'll get dinner, and then I go down to Kankakee at least once a month. But so we were gonna meet in Tinley Park, and my mom goes, "Jess, I just happened to find this rock store um called Hi Ho Gems. I didn't know it was here, like just passed it." So I talked to the owner, and he said he's gonna stay open late for you so you can come check it out. I'm like, "Oh, cool." Because my mom's been into crystals my whole life and she got me into them. So
Nice.
he stayed
Cool.
open late, and I got there and I was like in awe of all the stuff. Grabbed a couple things that I thought were really cool. And then he looked at me. He goes, "Have you ever heard of Reiki?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "What's that?" And he told me, it's like healing energy and everything. And I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I know of that. I didn't know it had a name, but okay, cool." And he said, "You should come to our Reiki shares. They're on the first Wednesday of every month." So I was like, "Okay, awesome." So, I'll come to the next one. So I went to the next one, and that's when I met like several of I call them, soul family. And I had my first Reiki treatment, and like I was in awe. I was like, "This is cool."
Yeah.
And like I got goosebumps, and like I was so like I almost felt high. I was so relaxed. Like it was a different feeling. And so I went, and that's like when I met my one of my good friends, Tony. And so I sat there talking to all these people about all this type of stuff, like paranormal stuff and energy and chakras and all this. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is the stuff I've loved my whole life." Because every now and then I would go through a bout of like chakra healing and positivity and mindfulness and all that. And I would try to be positive and everything. So it was cool being around so many people that thought the same way. And then I literally so that was in December of 2019. And I got my first Reiki attunement in May of 2020. And then I got my second one October of that year. And then my third one, my master level, I got from a different teacher who's also a really good friend of mine. Um, oh my God, when did I get my level 3? 2020, 21. So in 2022, I got my level 3. So my masters. And I love doing it. I enjoy, especially like when I get like the validation, like there was this one lady that she was like, "Oh, can it help, my back hurts and everything." I'm like, "Yeah, it can, do whatever you want it to do. It'll help you with it." And I guess you could say intuitively went to her right shoulder, her left hip, and her right knee, and I put my hands there for a little longer than the rest of the body. So she actually asked me, "Can you sense if people have prosthetics?" And I was like, I'm thinking that's a random question. I was like, "No, I don't think so. Why?" And she said, "Because everywhere that I touched, she had a rotator cuff replacement, a hip replacement, and a knee replacement." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah. That makes sense though. It
Yep.
So that
does.
was one of my
Yeah.
first experiences with the intuitiveness that I have with it. And like everybody now that I, do give Reiki to, I literally just I go where I feel I should go. Like my friend Genevieve, her friend, actually when we met you, Christina,
Yeah.
that day Genevieve's friend got Reiki from me, and I was drawn to her hips. And she was just like, "I don't really know. I don't think I've had hip issues lately." Well, the next day she texted Genevieve and was like, "Hey, tell your friend Jessiy she was dead on. I forgot that I've been having hip pain when I wake up every day." And she said that was the first day that she woke up with no hip pain was the day after I gave her Reiki.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah, I'd
awesome.
be scared to wake up with no pain. I'd be afraid I was dead.
On the
That
days that I wake up with no pain, I don't move because I know as soon as I move, I'm going to feel the pain.
Right.
right.
Exactly. It's like
Just the eyes open.
I'm just going to not move and enjoy this right now. That's what I'm going to do. Um, I know I had a Reiki session with you that day too,
Mhm.
and it was really a lovely session. I normally don't feel it when people give me Reiki. Um, oops. I because I vibrate so high that I don't normally feel other people's energy. You have to get higher than my vibration in order for me to feel it. And I've been a Reiki master since 2001. So I
Oh,
know that is,
wow.
yeah. Um, so when I'm receiving it, I know if the people know what they're doing or not, because I know what it's supposed to feel like for me.
Right.
And I was very impressed with your ability to stay out of the way, because that's really what it's about, isn't it?
Right.
It's about keeping your head out of the game and just letting the energy flow. And you did a
Hmm.
beautiful job of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had a few different people tell me that I give off like goddess energy, and I'm like, whoa, cool, okay, thanks.
What does that mean? What is that? What does that
Right,
commit me to?
right.
Right?
Yeah,
Don't put me on that pedestal.
I've had people tell me the same thing, and I'm like, wait, what's in that contract? I want to know before I agree.
Right. But I do enjoy, like, especially like I was saying, like the validation and stuff. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, and then I got to give one of my idols Reiki in September, Cindy Keza. I gave her Reiki, and that was cool.
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
nice.
Excuse me. It's like,
I'm
oh
still
yeah,
waiting to meet her.
yeah, she's so tiny. Like, I love it. She's so little, but she's like, her energy's big. And she's so nice.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch a few more documentaries because I don't know who that is.
Oh,
Ghost of Devil's Perch, Holzer Files, stuff with Dave.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched any of Dave's stuff.
Oh, you're missing out then.
Am I? All right.
Yeah,
There's
we
some
call
I'll
good
him
check it out.
locations.
I'll
we
check it
call him
out.
Papa Dave because he's like the papa of the ghost stuff. He's been doing the ghost hunting stuff with like TV and teams for, like, he helped with Paranormal State and Ghost Hunters, like a bunch of different shows. And then
Well, that and they had Darkness Radio and everything
yep,
else for the
Darkness
longest time
Radio.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave's awesome. Keep. I need to get a new microphone. I've been planning on it, but obviously car shit kind of comes first right now.
Right? Yep.
My new
And
one's sitting right here in the box, and my computer's in the other room. So,
Oh, that's too funny.
well, there you go.
you know,
Right.
maybe with the move, I'll actually get everything set up and sync together.
Oh yeah, because you're not fully moved yet. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Couple
true.
more weeks. Couple more
Yeah.
weeks.
I hope that you do it while the weather's still good.
I
I'm
was
hoping
just
the weather
thinking that
stays
too.
good.
Right.
I ain't been doing no dancing to trying to risk it.
Nope.
No.
No
Okay,
chance.
so there's one more thing, Jesse, probably more than one more, but there's one more thing that
Yeah.
I'm aware of that you're into, and that's tumbled stones.
Yeah. I tumble my own crystals. I think I got curious about it once. Because, like, if you go to a store and you know they have tumbled crystals and they can be expensive. So I was like, well, how do you make your own? Because that would be cool, and then I could, sell that at, like, originally I was like, oh, I'll have my own business, totally tumbled crystals. And then I added the healing aspect onto it, and now I'm more known for the Reiki, even though people do like my tumbled crystals, because I tumble them myself and I infuse them with Reiki
Hmm.
instead of somebody going to a store and just picking one up. Like, I
Right.
do the work. It takes like 2 months for one batch. So it does take a long time. So, like, usually it's like what I've got is what I've got.
Yeah, I get that.
But I do enjoy it, especially when they come out really, really well, or sometimes they'll come out in different shapes. I had a chevron amethyst that literally turned itself into a heart. And so I actually gave that to my friend Dave, who helped me cut up some of the amethyst and rose quartz that I ended up ordering. That they gave me 10 pounds and they were gigantic. There was no way I was going to be able to fit those in the tumbler.
Right.
And then another one turned out like a male genitalia. That's what it looks like, and it's hilarious.
I have
I'm
not seen
sure
that one
there's a
on your table. I've
there,
not seen that
there's a
one.
market for that.
There is a
I
market for
know.
that. There certainly
When
is a market for that, yeah.
when we were when Steve and I were in Salem, we went to one of the crystal shops there, and he's me being me, I'm just like, oh, that's a this type of stone and a this type of stone, and he made a game of it almost. He's like, this one's cool, babe. What's this? And I'm just like, oh, that's labradorite. And then he turns it over, and that's what the sticker says. And he
Hmm.
kept doing that. He kept bringing me stones, and I would tell him what it was.
Yeah.
And I was right every time, so he thought it was hilarious. And then we were looking at this one shelf with these huge amethysts and geodes and stuff, and I just happened to just kind of glance up a little bit, and I noticed there was a whole row of very very big ones that were like rose quartz and clear
Oh my
quartz and
gosh.
Nice.
amethyst, and I didn't tell him what it was there. I just go, oh wow, babe, look at this, look at that shelf. He looked up and was like, what the fuck? So I got him so good. So then him being immature grabbed one and was, running around with it like an idiot.
Hey, if you can't
It
have fun
was
with your
so
partner,
funny.
there's no point in having a partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It was so funny. I was just like, I got you so good. You had no idea those were up there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too funny. Excuse me. Lose my voice a little bit.
That's okay. This has been an incredible conversation. You want to tell us where you're going to be in the near future?
So this coming Saturday, I will be at the seance at the Roth House in Watsika, Illinois, with Larry Eisler, Diet Renee, Neil Gibbons, and I believe Archbishop Christy, I can't remember her full name. She was at Chris Fleming's pop-up Paracon last year. I think she's going to be there. Dave
I think
Schrader.
she was at Jack's Paracon this year
Yeah,
too.
Oh
she
So
yeah,
she was
was.
right.
yeah,
She
She
was right
okay.
was.
behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were there too. Damn. Okay, I've probably
Yep.
seen you there too. Um, so like there's gonna be quite a few people there. Dave Schrader was supposed to be there, but unfortunately, because Chris Fleming's condition, Dave's taking over his Ireland trip, so he's unable to make the expo this weekend. But from what I understand, there's like the Roth House, and then there's gonna be vendors, which that's what I'm gonna be there doing. The Reiki and sound healing that I do. And there's two buildings, I think it sounds like, of vendors, and then you can get
Hmm.
tours of the Roth House. It's from 1 to 7, and then at 7, Diet is going to channel and do a seance for 2 hours.
Right.
And there's going to be like two circles of people, and then as well as anybody else that wants to participate and stuff in it. So I'm looking forward to it because I know Larry's filming it because they've been doing a documentary
Hmm.
on the Roth House, and from what I understand, he's going to pitch it to Discovery or Travel Channel or something. So that would be really cool.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Yeah. Spoilers. So,
So
and
I mean,
where are you going to be after that?
after that, I'm actually pretty much done for the year.
Okay.
Yeah, so my last expo is this Saturday, and then I'm starting to get booked up for next year already.
Okay.
Excuse me. So yeah,
All
I don't.
right.
Yeah, as far as I know, I unless I get something last minute, because it'll be kind of nice to finally be able to relax and spend time with my fiance because I'm always gone for the weekends.
Right.
Gotta
And
take a
then
break
it's
once in a while.
yeah, and then I'm hoping to start writing my book as well, which you got to have time for that. I have an idea how I'm gonna start it and like the chapters and everything, and I already got a publisher and everything
Cool.
for it, so it's like it's pretty much just has to be written.
Yeah. You'll find out that the writing is the easiest part.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Because by the time you're done editing, having somebody else edit it rewriting, editing, rewriting, final script. You're just so done with it.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's funny. I
Yeah.
mean, I've had so many experiences throughout my life that almost everybody that has heard a handful is like, "Are you writing a book? You need to write a book about all of this." It's like, I've thought about it. I used to want to be an author when I was younger, so it only makes sense that I decide to write a book of all the crazy shit that I've been through.
Well, there you
Right.
go. There you go. Awesome. Rez, what do you got coming up?
Nothing really. Not, let's see, by the time this airs, we'll be past Halloween.
Yep.
So Caps has their live Halloween thing going on. Find that on YouTube. So unfortunately, if you didn't watch it, go back on our YouTube channel, check that out. May is about the next big thing I got coming up, and that's CapCon.
Yep,
You
me too.
know,
I'll be there
Me too.
then.
I'll be there
yeah,
too. Yep.
Yay.
that's May
Yep.
9th through the 11th,
Yep.
Doubletree by Hilton in Appleton. It's gonna be a great time. Unfortunately, I won't be able to hang out as much as I normally do because I'll be working it.
Well,
Right,
there you
yeah.
go. Well,
You know,
let's
my
see. Go ahead.
my luck, they'll stick me by the door and do tickets again. So I gotta, watch everyone
Aw.
coming in and out.
Yep. There you go. I had to pull up my calendar. Let's see. I have a private party this Friday night, so I'd be doing gallery and individual readings for a business party. I am at MetaPara in Baraboo at the American on Saturday. I am at the Psychic Fair in Cable at the Community Center on Sunday. Another private party on Monday. And the following weekend, I will be at WitchyCon in Duluth. So that's
Oh,
Friday
cool.
through Sunday. I will be there. Yep. Um, and it looks like let's see, where are we here? So I'm back with MetaPara in Eau Claire on November 9th. I will be at Ohm is Where the Heart Is in Amherst on November 16th. And back with MetaPara in Fond du Lac on November 30th. So that's what I've got coming up for the next month or so.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and I don't expect anyone to remember that, but you can go to my my website or Facebook and we'll figure it out. So,
I know
yeah.
that's gonna be me probably one day, so
Yeah, and I am so excited about next year because I'm doing the CAPS one. I'm doing the Penn, Ohio Bigfoot Conference.
Nice.
I'm doing the Cryptid Con UK. So I will
Oh,
be
wow.
in England for 2 weeks, even though
Oh, that's
that's only
That,
one
awesome.
day, but I'll be there for two
that's
weeks.
the one where you're stuffing me in your suitcase, telling me how to security. Don't forget that little part there.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And we'll talk about how much that extra baggage is going to cost.
Right.
I'll cover the cost of the baggage.
It's probably be more than the plane ticket. But let's see,
There's
what else have
reasons
I
why
got?
we want to go with the baggage. There's reasons. So
I will be at the main Paracon next September. And
I want to, but I'm like, do I want to commit to that? Because of how far it is.
yeah, it is far, but I'm thinking we're going to do a chick trip or something out there, and then it'll just be fun.
Yeah,
Um,
because I know we want to go to Maine next year, so I'm like, do I want to work for 2 days? I mean, it's not really work, but instead of spending time with Steve, do I want to be, quote, working for 2 days while on vacation? I don't know
well,
yet.
here's the thing though. If you go out there and you work for 2 days, you can write the whole trip off, as a work trip. Doesn't
That's
matter you stay,
true.
so
Hmm.
think about it. Be smart.
well, in May, there's also the Hiawatha Fair in Escanaba on May 3rd. Then the CAPS convention, and then West End Health and Wellness Fair in Ishpeming, Michigan is in May. And then I'm gone for 2 weeks. And then when I get back, it's Spirits in the Paracon. So that's in June. So there's lots of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, I know. There's like, I've had a lot of people asking if I'm doing certain ones, and I'm like, I only get so much time off of my day job, so I can't schedule too much. and then not have vacation time for me and my fiance to go somewhere. That'd be
Right.
messed up.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm fortunate in that I've worked myself out of a day job, so I can
yeah,
do
you're
all of these.
that's my goal, to work
Yeah.
myself out of a day job.
It took a
I'll
while, but
get
I
there.
got there. Yep, it
Right.
took a
Yep.
while, but I got there. Well, thank you, Jesse. This has been a fun conversation. Well,
Yeah,
most of
no
it's been
problem.
fun. Some of it was kind of a bummer, but the rest was fun. And I look forward to seeing you at the next time I see you. I won't be at the Roth House, so um,
Yeah.
but I'm sure I'll
Hopefully
run into you
sometime soon.
somewhere.
Yeah, one of the metaphysical ones or something, I'll end up
Right,
seeing
right,
you.
exactly. All right, everyone. Again, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, like us, follow us, share us. We got great stuff. Anything you want to say, Rez?
No, catch you guys later.
All right, everyone. Have a great day.